What's up everyone, Gids here for another TFT guide, and today we're gonna talk about climbing strategy that we can do on patch 14.2. Granted that it's only been around 24 hours since patch 14.2 has been released, but it looks like the meta is shaping up to be a reroll meta just because of Vayne being very strong. Well, it's the Vayne plus freaking Jarvan. Jarvan is very strong right now. So with those two, it actually opens up the path to a reroll meta, because when one comp is pretty strong for being a reroll, especially 2-cost, other 2-cost carries are actually going to be better as well, because again, the pool is going to be thinned out by another player rerolling, and it's basically helping each other out. So yeah, you're gonna have like 2 to 3 rerollers and a few who are going to be playing for level 8. So how do you play some of these boards? Well, I'm going to show it to you guys in detail, so let's go. So let's talk about this board here first, because these are all the boards that is kind of playable right now, or like the best ones to play right now. So first up, we have the Vayne Reroll comp, of course, building double Rage Blades, and that translates to Twisted Fate being double Rage Blades as well. So yeah, Rage Blades are like a prime commodity right now, so it might be really hard to get some bow components or rod components on the carousels right now if people are really going to hard force these reroll comps right here. So if you have an early Rage Blade or bow or rod components early game, stage 2, then probably consider going this route right here. And the thing is, if these two routes right here are super contested, there's always outs. You can always transition your plans of playing reroll into doing a standard level 8, especially if you're pretty healthy. Like, only do this if you're healthy and streaking early game and you get contested by someone who's actually going to roll pretty deep and hit their units much faster than you. Okay, so do this one. Just transition into a Zeri or a Philios with 4 Golden Ox, which is still pretty good. It's looking pretty good actually, but I don't have a board for it right now because I myself am trying to experiment with this. But right now, Zeri with Hollow Bow right now is actually good because Hollow Bow has been buffed. You can partner it with a Pulse if you have Pulse. If not, just put an IE in here. But without an Exotech item, Zeri might be a little bit hard to play. Anyways, yeah, that's how you can transition your Rage Blades into 4-cost carries later on. Okay? So another carry that we have right now that's looking pretty good is Shaco. Okay, so Shaco, again, IE, Hodge, or maybe Edge of Night with, what do you call that? That augment that gives you an Edge of Night. Those are like some of the requirements. So you want a completed item, or maybe a Shaco 2 at the start of stage 2 to start stacking up. That's like some of the requirements to play Shaco. So at least you'll know how to play Shaco. And again, if Shaco is contested, you can just transition into a Z board with some Slayers. But this one's not really going to guarantee good spot, but maybe it can help you get to a top 4. Okay, moving on to the AP side of the board, we have Veigar Reroll right now. Again, some requirements. It's kind of hard to actually win out with Veigar because first, you need to hit Veigar 3 and also Shyvana 3 to have a front line and a back line. And then later on, you kind of need to find Kobuko to actually cap out. If you don't get Kobuko, you're most likely going to end up around 4th to 6th. Okay? That's going to be your placement if you don't get those units. So another way you can transition into a level 8 board is to just play duo carry with Ziggs and Brand. But that means you're not gonna be building blue buff early game because Shojin is like the best items for Ziggs and Brand since they have a higher mana pool than a Veigar. Okay? But Ziggs and Brand actually just need the same items, and yeah, they are actually pretty strong and they make use of a lot of good emblems like Techie Emblem, Street Demon Emblem, and Strategist Emblem is really good for them. Oh, and don't get me wrong, Nitro is still okay. Nitro has been nerfed, but Misfortune actually has gotten buffed. So my previous video on my climbing strategy for 14.1B patch is still actually pretty okay if you want to consistently top 4. So this is still a really good top 4 option. And usually it's really nice if you get Nitro on 2-1. But if you start stacking Nitro pretty late, then it's not really going to be good. But you're still almost always going to end up with a board that has like a 2k or more HP T-Hex, or not really a T-Hex, it's going to be just a robot. But yeah, it's still going to be a frontline with 2k HP for free and with a really good board to back it up. So this thing is still pretty good to climb with and really easy to top 4 with as well. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at all the boards right now. So let's first take a look at the Vayne board. Okay, so this is the Vayne board right now. So it's basically playing 4 Slayer, 4 Vanguard right here. And this is capping out at level 7, by the way. Level 7 because what you really want to hit here is actually Jarvan 3 and Senna 3 as soon as you hit the Vayne 3. Okay, so you really want to be rolling for Jarvan 3 and Senna 3 here because the buffs on Jarvan, it's actually crazy. This guy deals a lot of damage and it's actually very tanky as well. So if you hit these 3 right here, 3-star, you're pretty much guaranteed top 3, right? Unless someone just caps out with something else. And at level 8, you can actually, the game plan is once you have like 5 or 6 copies, Jarvan, Senna, you can actually move or push for level 8 and put in a 5 cost. 5 costs that are really good are Garen, of course. Then you have Aurora if you want to pull in a unit, or you have Renekton as well just to get AD from Senna right here. The most preferred one that I like right now is Garen because giving everyone Slayer mods is crazy because of the healing that you get from the Senna and Vayne. Especially put it on Leona or put it on Garen himself. Okay? Put it on Garen himself and the overheal that you get from the Slayers is really, really good. Okay? One more thing to think about is this positioning right here. It's actually really nice because this one saves you from Sejuani ults. Okay? Saves your Vayne from Sejuani ults. So if their Sejuani is in the corner right here, it's gonna move to Jarvan and he's going to aim for Jarvan and it's going to hit somewhere around this middle area right here. If it's on the next hex right here, it's the same thing. It's always going to aim away from your Vayne. Of course, you can always do this on the other side. Just reverse it. Just make sure that they don't have anything to actually aim over on this side. Okay? So always put your Renekton over here or maybe over here as well. I'm not sure the targeting, but usually targeting wise, it's always going to be Jarvan first. But if your Renekton moves up here and their Sejuani is like right on the corner right here, he might target it, but I doubt it. I don't think so because that's 2 hex space and they're always going to aggro on Jarvan first. Okay? So keep your Vayne safe. Don't get ulted by Sejuani and you should be okay. Very simple, again, very simple playstyle. Roll at 6 for Vayne copies and Jarvan and Senna's. And then once you get your Vayne 3, you can level up to 7. Start slow rolling for Jarvan and Senna. Try to hit a Zed copy, Leona copy. And then push 8 once you have enough copies of Jarvan and Senna. And finish up your Jarvan and Senna and end the game. Alright, next up, we have the Twisted Fate board. So Twisted Fate right here is also going to be very simple. Just double Rage Blade, Gunblade, and then Darius is going to be your frontline. Okay? So very, very simple. Then cap out your board with Aurora Urgot, by the way. So that's the cap out. I already put it in here, but yeah. You just cap it out with Dynamo and then pull in Urgot. Usually, if you can't have Urgot, then Zac maybe is the second best pull for Aurora. Right here. You can also duo carry with Miss Fortune right now because Miss Fortune without the hat is actually pretty decent right now because she was buffed to add more waves when she does not have the Syndicate hat. Because usually you want to put your Syndicate hat onto Darius and Twisted Fate. Early game board, you're just gonna be playing around 3 Syndicate plus Rapid Fire Kog'Maw. Okay, so your board's gonna look something like this. Level 6, level 5, right? Level 6 is just this guy or the other dude, this guy, right? Drop this. Just like your level 6, strongest level 6 variation. And of course, that's gonna be a 2-star and a 2-star. That's your level 6 variation and that's very, very strong early game already and can win you a lot of rounds and tempo you. Okay, our next reroll board is going to be Veigar. And Veigar, what I mentioned earlier is that this thing is pretty hard to hit because look, you have 7 units on the board, but there's Kobuko and Viego. which is pretty hard to actually hit. But you can do without these things for now. Like your level 6 boards is basically you're going to be playing around techies, right? So you have 4 techies with this one. And then you can just put in any random front lines. Like you can play with Dragas early on for more bruisers, or you can play for Bastion while you're still trying to look for your units early game, right? So you can actually play something like this, but this one's gonna drop your techie. Again, level 7, maybe you can put in Mordekaiser for 4 techie, but yeah, you can just do 2 bruiser or 2 bastion, 2 bruiser, 2 bastion, 4 techie, or just do something like this, okay? So that's your build up for Veigar. Again, you need to hit Shyvana 3, Veigar 3. Poppy 3 is not really required, but if you do hit Veigar 3 early and Shyvana early, then you are in a really good spot, especially if you find Kobuko early. Kobuko is not really as contested as he was before anymore, which is pretty nice. And then next, we have here the double AP carries. So this is the final board. Of course, it's going to be somewhat similar to when we started patch 14 or set 14. Somewhat similar to the Annie board, the build-up. Right, so you're gonna be playing around strong AP carries early game, like something like LeBlanc or maybe Veigar as well, or Seraphine and Zyra. That's going to be your build-up early AP carries like those. And of course, frontline, there's again a lot of choices. 2 Vanguards, 2 Bruisers, or 2 Bastions. Pick your choice. Whoever gets 2-starred first or whoever is stronger that you have upgraded, play around them. Play around Echo as well. Echo is pretty good early game if you have him. And then level 8, you want to have 2-star Nico, 2-star Brand, or 2-star Ziggs, and 3 items on the Nico or 3 items on the AP carry of whatever you hit. Okay? Level 9, you start transitioning your Nico items into Kobuko and give extra items to Viego if you can still spare some extra items onto Viego. Okay, but usually just Brand and Ziggs is going to finish up everything. And then lastly, we have the Zeri board. So it's still going to be Exotech. So Flux Capacitor and the Pulse one, this thing. Pulse Stabilizer has been nerfed a little bit. So they're not really as desirable as they were before. And the good thing about this one is that it's not really as contested as it was before, but Hollow Bow has been buffed, so it pairs well. It pairs really well with IE, of course. So if you don't have IE, then it's gonna be bad to have Hollow Bow. It's not that good, but yeah, this is like best in slot right now. And then of course Sejuani still taking the tank items. You can duo tank with Mordekaiser since you're going with 7 Exotech, you're usually going to have 2 tank items. Having 2 Exotech tank items on Sejuani is okay, but if you have other tank items that you can put on him, like something like a Warmogs, you can consider moving the other Exotech item onto Mordekaiser. Alright? So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the comps that we have right now. Again, I'm still experimenting on the Golden Ox board because I still haven't made it work, okay? But usually it's just going to be Annie, Aphelios plus the frontlines Jarvan and +1. Jarvan and what's his name? The bull. The bull guy. This guy. Alistar. Okay? And then usually you want to play around Golden Ox emblem. If you can get the emblem, then 6 is good. But usually you play around 4 for now. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna release that once I figure it out. But anyways, that's it for now. Leave a like on the video if it helps. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you have any ideas of your own on how to make these boards so much better, or if you have other comps in mind that are actually looking really good this patch. So yeah, that's pretty much for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. GG's.